In the ancient and harsh land of Egypt, where the sun scorched the earth with its heat, the Israelites lived as slaves. Pharaoh, the stubborn ruler of Egypt, saw them as a danger because they were growing into a large and strong group. The burden on their backs was heavy. Bricks made without straw whispered prayers for deliverance, and eyes turned quietly to the heavens were their lot. Here began the tale of Moses, a man chosen by providence, whose legacy would echo through eternity. Moses, an Israelite by birth, had been miraculously saved from Pharaoh's edict of infanticide by the cunning of his mother and the compassion of Pharaoh's own daughter. Raised within the palace walls, he was taught the ways of the Egyptians. Yet, the stain of his heritage never faded from his heart, and the cries of his people reached deep into his soul. One fateful day, driven by righteous anger, Moses struck down an Egyptian who was mercilessly beating a Hebrew slave. This act of defiance forced him to flee into the wilderness, where he lived in exile, tending the sheep of his father-in-law, Jethro. Here, amidst the burning sands and windswept dunes, God spoke within a bush that burned but was not consumed. "I am that I am," said the voice, commanding Moses to return to Egypt and demand freedom for the Israelites. Thus began a confrontation of cosmic scale between Moses and Pharaoh, orchestrated not with swords, but with the awesome power of divine will. Moses, with his brother Aaron as a spokesman, warned of the 10 plagues that would scourge Egypt if Pharaoh's obstinacy persisted. The water turned to blood, frogs swarmed the land, gnats and flies filled the air, and pestilence struck the livestock. Boils, hail, locusts, and darkness proved futile in bending Pharaoh's unyielding heart. Finally, the angel of death swept across the nation, claiming the firstborn sons, a grief that even Pharaoh could not withstand. In the dead of night, the Israelites gathered their belongings, ate hastily the Passover meal, unleavened bread, roasted lamb, and bitter herbs, and prepared for their exodus from bondage. Pharaoh, defeated and grieving, ordered Moses to take his people and leave Egypt. They journeyed toward the Promised Land. Yet, as they camped by the sea, Pharaoh's heart turned yet again, and he pursued them with chariots and horsemen. Trapped between the wrath of Pharaoh and the waters of the Red Sea, fear gripped the hearts of the Israelites. But Moses, stretching forth his hand over the sea, called upon the power unseen. The waters parted, forming walls of liquid crystal, as the Israelites walked upon dry ground toward their freedom. Pharaoh's army, blinded by vengeance, followed into the path made by liberation. Yet, as the last Israelites set foot upon the opposite shore, Moses once more stretched his hand, and the waters returned with a roar, consuming the chariots and soldiers. The sea fell silent again, leaving only the sound of the free wind and voices lifted in song and praise to the God who brought forth their salvation. Amidst their freedom, they were led to Mount Sinai, where amidst thunder and fire, the Lord imparted to Moses the 10 Commandments. Written upon stone tablets, destined to guide not only their lives, but the hearts and minds of myriad generations. Thus concluded the Exodus, an end and a beginning, a story of liberation, of law, and of a people who walked from the shackles into the light of their destiny. Moses, the faithful shepherd of a reborn nation, led the Israelites with unwavering trust in God. With divine wisdom and courage, he guided them through trials, and by God's power, parted the Red Sea, allowing them to cross safely, marking a miraculous deliverance from slavery to freedom. Moses received the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai when God revealed his divine laws. Amid thunder, lightning, and smoke, God inscribed the commandments on stone tablets. These laws emphasized worship, morality, and justice, shaping the covenant between God and his people.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.